Nonsense.
Good evening, one and all present here. My name is Anjali Catalia, second year civil engineering student studying at Reva University, designing coordinator and today's host. I welcome you all to the Founders Talk for the year 2021 organized by Cisco Think You Better, NASCOM Foundation. Today we all are here to listen and learn on the topic, College to Startup, a roadmap to our first college startup. Firstly, I would like to thank the organizing committee, Cisco Think You Better, NASCOM Foundation, and Reva University for giving me this wonderful opportunity to host the gathering. I would also take immense pleasure in welcoming our today's speaker, Mr. Avelo Roy, a successful entrepreneur, managing director, and chief executive officer of Kolkata Ventures, 4 times TEDx speaker and TV host to today's program. No event is possible to conduct smoothly without team. I welcome all my dear teachers, mentors, organizing team, and the coordinators. Last but not least, I also welcome all the participants for their valuable presence. I now request Mr. Akhil Madhav, Maker Manager of Cisco Think You Better, NASCOM Foundation, to brief about Think You Better program. Sir.
Yeah, hello sir. Hello sir. Very good evening, Avelo sir. Hello,
Good
sir.
evening.
Yeah. So myself, Akhil, I'm the maker manager of Cisco Incubator program. So I just want to give an overview what is Incubator basically doing. So Incubator, it's an initiative of Cisco, and this program completely running by NASCOM Foundation. And Incubator is basically for student entrepreneurs, and because if you want to start anything new, or if you want to learn about entrepreneurship, or if you want to make some awesome projects, then Incubator is the best place to start on. Okay, and basically it's a student oriented program, and we are running this program in 18 universities across India and 18 premium universities across India, and we have around 500 plus students are part of this program, and we are running this program for the last 2 years. So if you are stuck with an idea, or if you want to do any startup project, you can approach Cisco Incubator team, and we have an active student body in every campus. They are actually the front face of the program, and they are completely supporting you throughout, and they will give you an overview. They can guide you further how to scale up your product and your ideas and everything. Okay. So just log on to incubator.nascomfoundation.org, and that is our official website, and just have a look. And if you are interested, if you want to be part of the program, just try to reach out all of us. Okay. So thank you so much, and over to Anjali. Yeah, thank you.
Avelo sir has just joined, so I would like to welcome you, sir, for the gathering.
Thank you so much.
I would now request my colleague Saleha Mariam to introduce our guest speaker to audience. Over to Saleha.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. I'll cut straight to the introduction. Mr. Avelo Roy, our guest speaker tonight, is a serial entrepreneur with 8 businesses in the United States and a multi-million-dollar range of products and services, ranging from artificial intelligence systems, healthcare process automation, to wearable technology. Having started his first company at the age of 19 while still a student at the Illinois Institute of Technology, Mr. Roy built it to a multi-million-dollar valuation by the age of 22. Mr. Roy's specialty includes a mastery over growth hacking, serial marketing, and a tech product development. As the great grandson of Sarojini Naidu, Mr. Roy continues the legacy forward by serving the Indian youth through entrepreneurship education using lean startup methodology and managerial guidance using the principles of Bhagavad Gita. We're all honored to have you here, sir. Thank
you.
you for joining us. Over to you, Anjali.
Thank you, Saleha. Now, this is the time we all were waiting for. I request our speaker to share his experience and wonderful talk with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Anjali. Thank you for the introduction. I'll share my screen. Please let me know if you're able to see it. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay, cool. All right. So since all of you are students, and I was introduced as I started as a student entrepreneur. So these are some of the pictures from my student days, pitching my ideas, getting mentored by some of the best and the brightest in the industry. On the bottom right, you can see at the time, CEO of Motorola and Nokia, billionaires, who had already built amazing businesses. We had access to such people, getting the mentorship. So whatever I've learned from them, I've applied, and then I'm now sharing with you as well. Won many competitions in business plan competitions in US and Canada. Got honored by the California State Senate. Built these businesses, and then finally returned to India in 2016 and started Kolkata Ventures. And Kolkata Ventures has been a very gratifying project for me because I get to see new entrepreneurs come out I have built my businesses. Making your own product, building your own life, own career is one thing, but helping others grow is something very, very amazing. Unless you do it, you don't realize. I'm not married, I'm not a father, but I feel like I'm a father of so many wonderful children. That's a great feeling. Some of these children are actually older than me, and that's okay. But it's a great feeling to be able to create that kind of impact. And 400 plus startups have come out of Kolkata Ventures. 4,500 new jobs have been created, and now we are in 5 countries. So it's been an amazing journey. So the specialty about Kolkata Ventures is we allow only entrepreneurs who've built multi-million dollars worth of product and services to help budding entrepreneurs. So people who are successful, built businesses from 0 to 1 million, only those people are allowed to mentor. So no motivational speakers, no talkers, but actually doers, those who have done something. And also we have experts from the industry who have been part of the scaling of unicorns like Naukri or Snapdeal or Oyo, Ola, companies like that. These are some of our startups that are making more than 10 lakhs a month that are incubated by us. They started with zero and now they're already making a lot of revenue, and these have already gotten funded, and many are in the process of getting funded. I mean, I'll just pause for a little bit, but maybe I'll share some. So we have like baby products. We have hotels in the sense that 1 hour, 2 hour booking of 5-star hotels. So you stop paying like 10,000 rupees for a room. You pay only like 2,000 rupees, and that's great for couples and things like that. Then Hunger Bay is one of our startup that's in Sikkim that's like doing incredible work. They're basically Zomato for Sikkim, right? We have influencer marketing. We have cancer cure products. WatchSpot is an app where you can watch videos together as a group watching of YouTube videos or whatever videos you want to watch. You can watch on that app. So like that, there are all kinds of medical startups. Some are COVID-related startups, senior care, sports startups, etc. So, and I love sharing knowledge. So I'm also a guest lecturer at 6 IITs, 3 IIMs, and 2 US universities. TED Talks as well, 4 TED Talks, and some reviews. If you Google my name, you'll find a lot of these articles. So why I'm sharing is not about bragging. It's more about letting you know that what I'm going to share with you today in the next 40 minutes or so is going to be my experience and what I have learned, applied, and it has worked for me, and it has worked for hundreds of startups under Kolkata Ventures. So be ready with your phone and take notes if you want to, or take screenshots. There's a story behind this little plaque. So when I was a student entrepreneur, Obama got elected in 2008, and it was one of his at that time it was a recession period, and Obama got an economy that was completely broken by the Afghanistan war and Iraq war. So at that time, he was pushing entrepreneurs to actually, uh, build companies and create job creators. So we, as college entrepreneurs, he was pushing us to go to colleges and high schools to inspire students to become entrepreneurs. And at one high school, actually, they gave me this plaque that says, "Can't spell entrepreneur, be one, and hire someone who can," which is, I find, very simple yet very powerful definition of entrepreneur, because you don't have to be end all be all. Don't need to know everything of everything. You know what you know. There are some gifts that God has given you, and the rest you build a team around you. And college is the best place because you have all the sharp minds, the bright minds around you. You have fantastic professors. You have connects of alumni. You have access to all these people who can help you build your startup. Things you don't know, they're there to help you with. Every college has a e-cell, and now you have access to Thinkubator, that I'm sure is adding a lot of value to you. So this is the perfect time to get started, right? Now let's jump into the topic and how to start a startup. Now, first thing is you need to understand, back in the days when you were a kid and there used to be all these TV ads and all that, right? Before internet, it was more like TV ads, and the people like Reliance or Tata, Birlas, they would build products and they would put ads, and it would be like making people want things. You see an ad, you go to the shopping mall and you buy things. Later on, what happened was, uh, with the internet, with democratization, with globalization, now we have choices, we have options, and for every product there are hundreds of choices, right? So now the process of success is actually making things people want. So rather than, I think this would work, instead of that, it's, let me see what people want and making something that they want rather than making something I think they want, right? Like Steve Jobs, right? At that time, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
sir.
Yes, perfectly.
Yes,
I
sir, but your presentation actually, we can't see your presentation.
mm,
Can you share it again?
I'm sorry, just give me a second. I don't know what's going on with my computer. You cannot see my screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
No, sir, we can't see. We couldn't see. Yeah.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Now it is visible. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moving on to the next slide. So first thing is you need to know what people want. Okay, I was giving a story, right? So making things people want. So when Steve Jobs came up with the iPhone, at that time, if you remember, there was the market leader in phones was Nokia and BlackBerry. And Nokia and BlackBerry both had phones with literally like 20 buttons, right? And it would take you a week to figure out how to use a bloody phone. Uh, and Steve Jobs made it so easy with the iPhone with only 2 buttons, and that's it. So what happened was, immediately the market share moved onto iPhone, right? Nokia owned 90% of the phone market, and immediately Apple took over, and before Nokia could even figure out, they were dead. Now, what happened? Steve Jobs did market research to find out what people want. People want style, they want elegance, they want user friendliness, they want simplicity, they want songs, they want movie, they want music, they want interactivity with the phone, they want to play with their phone. It's less about talking, it's more about utility. All right. And that's what he made the smartphone into. Smartphone is no more about calling. I mean, it is a calling, obviously, but it has so much more than just calling, right? Scratch was a big factor. Oh, if you scratch the phone, what happens, right? They came up with a special kind of glass that doesn't scratch easily. It was specifically built for iPhones, right? He said, innovate, I don't care. Steve was carrying the iPhone and a prototype of the iPhone in his pocket, and his car keys scratched the phone surface. And he said, you know what? This is not going to work. I need you to make a glass that doesn't scratch. And that's, they came up with a new special glass. It was called sapphire crystal glass, right? And later on, now it's called Gorilla Glass. So it's important to know what people care about. But your startup is special because it starts with you. It's not about what's hot in the market. It's not about what's the trend, what investors are investing in, edtech, fintech, this, that. No, it's about what gifts do you have, what skills and passions do you have, right? What can you do? What can you solve? So when I start a business, being a serial entrepreneur, this is what I do myself as a exercise. I write down my top 2 skills at this time of my life. What are the things I'm really good at compared to everybody else? And 2 things I'm passionate about. And based on that, I come up with a business model. So what happens is the skills lead to the product. So basically, first let's talk about the market. The market is defined by the passion. So if I'm passionate about cars, right? I'm passionate about sports. I'm passionate about music or movies, right? I would choose a market where I can connect with the problem of the market, because these people and I have something in common, and that's something I am passionate about, right? So based on the market, so let's say I'm excited about cars. Now I'm going to go for a market segment. What's the problem in this market? Oh, the problem is people buy cars, but it's hard to sell a car, right? You lose a lot of money. Okay, maybe leasing, like Zoom Car does, right? Or different kind of ideas you can come up with in terms of what's the market problem. And once you figure out the problem, now you create a solution with your skills. But then you realize you don't have all the skills. You have your friends, you bring in friends who have skills that you don't have. Maybe you're good at coding, somebody's good at marketing, somebody's good at finance, somebody's good at operations, and you build a team around, and together you build a business model with the help of your product market fit, your market and your product, and you create a business model. Now, what is a business model? Let's just make it really simple for you guys. I don't want to make it into an MBA class, but a business model is, I'm going to share. So business model, think about it this way. Have you seen sugarcane juice being made? The sugarcane goes in, juice comes out, right? So business model is like that. Your effort goes in, your creativity goes in, your time goes in, sometimes your money goes in, value creation happens, you solve a problem, and revenue comes. Customer pays you for you solving the problem. When the revenue is more than the cost, you're profitable. When the revenue is less than the cost, you're making losses. Initially, you will make losses. Eventually, you will go to profitability. That's how it works. That's how every business works. There's nothing wrong with it. But the point is, the whole process of business model is that. So I'm sure you might be going through business model canvas and things like that. And you can Google business model canvas. So it includes many things: customer segment, customer relationship, key strategic partners, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into the details. We don't have time for that. But in short, your effort goes in, value creation happens, revenue comes out. That process, that whole thing is called the business model. Can you see my screen?
No, sir. No, we can't see yours.
I'm used to Zoom. This is like, keeps throwing me off. Okay. All right. Now, identifying your market. How do you identify your market? There are 2 things you need to know. One is secondary market research, one is primary market research. So you first start with secondary, then you go to primary. Secondary is where you go look at Google Trends, what people are searching. Nielsen, market research reports, Quora, what people are asking questions about. And you figure out, this is a problem. And this is getting a lot of attention. A lot of people are searching this, but they're not finding it. There's a problem I found. Okay, right? Now I'm going to solve it. So then you talk to the market. That's primary market research. So you actually directly talk to those people. Where are they found? Are they in Starbucks? Are they in colleges? Are they in corporates? You talk to them, pick up the phone and talk to them. I did a project with Google, and we were building this product for Google Analytics, right? And I called more than 330 marketing companies, marketing agencies around the world, Australia, New Zealand, of course, United States, UK, and found out from my primary market research that, okay, this is a common thread that everybody faces. And we built a product around it. And by the time we had the solution, we already had customers willing to pay us $1,000 a month per customer, right? So that's the beauty of market research, that you don't have to go into it blindly. Before you start product development, you figure out what is the pain point, what are people willing to pay for, and you go for it. Today, many people say, oh, I want to build a product like a social network like Facebook, but it's all about privacy. And I'm like, it won't work. People don't care about privacy. Do your market research, right? Many people, when Elon Musk said, oh, okay, we should use Signal because WhatsApp is now going to take our data and give it to Facebook. It's owned by Facebook anyway. People were like, okay, we're going to go for Signal. Everybody downloaded Signal because everybody quickly went back to WhatsApp again, because people don't care about privacy. People don't pay for privacy. If Facebook starts charging today, nobody will use Facebook. Like, oh, okay, maybe 99% of people won't use Facebook and 1% might use. So the point is, there are certain problems people are willing to pay for. There are certain problems people are not willing to pay for. And through market research, you validate that. In your mind, you might be like, yeah, I care about this problem, but then you're the only customer. So as a startup can't do everything for everyone. You do something for someone. So do one thing and one thing really, really well. And to figure that out, you need to do your market research. You need to find a problem that people are willing to pay for. But then you need to also keep in mind, with your limited resources, limited funding, limited intelligence, limited skills, what can you build? So technical feasibility is a big part. Where you are college students, okay, what can you build? When I was a college student, I was thinking of building a technology that sends hugs over the internet. And I was like, okay, I realized Philips had already spent $4 million into research and development in the University of Singapore. And we were the college students in the US. And I was like, I cannot compete with Philips. So technology-wise, I'm failing here. What can I do? Simply. And I came up with a necklace, which was like Apple Watch, 10 years before Apple Watch. And with the necklace, you can sync in the real world and you can become friends online. And it was meant for girls aged between 8 and 13, so preteen girls. And they used the necklace, they interacted with the necklace, they sent messages with the necklace. It was a smart necklace that allowed you to become friends on a social network. So we could build the technology simply. The business model was robust because parents were scared about cyberbullies, pedophiles at that time, because Facebook just came in, MySpace went out, Orkut was going out, right? That was that period when social network was new and kids wanted it, parents wouldn't let them do it. So we built this product which had, technically we could build it, people we wanted it, parents wanted it, kids wanted it. So people desirability was there and business viability was there. It was cheap enough. We could manufacture it in China and send it. So our innovation, our patent and everything was based around it. And it worked for us. We built our first $1 million company, raised venture capital after getting rejected by 300 investors. It rejected us. After that, we got one of the biggest investors actually to a venture capital firm in Chicago to invest in us. And then 3 other investors came on board. We went to China. As a 20-year-old, I was building a multi-million-dollar business, raising money in a broken economy when unemployment was 10% in America, right? So all of that, because it was business viability was there, technology feasibility was there, and people desirability was there, right? So it was doable. Investors could see I could put money and these guys could actually deliver it, right? Being young entrepreneurs and engineers. So first thing you have to figure out is don't try to build everything. So build minimum viable features. As engineers, we tend to be a little emotional and we try to show off how much we know and how much we can do, how complicated we can build. But trust me, when you make something complicated, people don't like buying it. So empathize with the audience, build something simple, define it, ideate, prototype, test, and slowly, you can make it more and more complex, but start simply. There are 2 kinds of startups that you can build out of college. One is product, one is services. Product startup, you might need a little bit of seed funding or crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is, basically instead of one guy giving you 25 lakhs, 50 lakhs, you get 500 people paying you that amount of money on a website based on a video or a prototype that you've built. So one of our incubated startups, CrowdPouch, is actually a crowdfunding platform where entrepreneurs can go, they can put their video up for their potential product, and you can raise money, right? So physical product requires a little bit of money because you need to build prototypes, build, test, learn, multiple iterations, better product. You're doing okay, and then once you figure out 70% your product is almost there, you don't need perfection, you don't need 100%, you can be 70% there, raise Series A money, launch your product, marketing, distribution, sales. So today in India still Amazon, Flipkart, all of these put together only are 10%. 90% of buying happens on real retail stores, physical stores, right? Shopping malls and stores like that. But online marketing and online distribution is very limited. So distribution is key. You need to get distributors who can sell your product to hundreds of retailers, and thus you're able to sell your product. Service business, a lot easier. Your B2B customers are on LinkedIn, business to business customers are on LinkedIn, business to consumer customers are on Facebook and Instagram, right? Test one variable at a time. Focus on making sure you have the right accounting, management, GST, compliance, all of those taken care of. Once you have figured out, social media, enough of it, I need to now do more. Then it comes a real sales push, telecallers calling, like Byju's. They have 2,500 telecallers calling minimum 50 people a day, and that's how they're selling their product and service. So it's a very, very people-intensive business. So social media works for a while, but beyond that, you need databases and you need telecallers, you need salespeople to sell and push your service, right? You will come across failure early on. People will be like, shitty product, I don't want it, right? But that's okay, that's natural, that's how it is. Just like when you learn to walk, you couldn't walk, you fell down many times, and then your parents gently told you, beta, try, and you were able to walk, right? So similarly with startup also, you'll fall on your face, you'll get up, you'll build, you'll measure, you'll learn, and you'll build again, you'll measure again, you'll learn again, and that's how you build your startup, right? Constantly, you're building, measuring, learning, failing fast, succeeding faster. Rather than building everything for everyone and making a wrong product for the wrong audience and losing a lot of money and time, build something simple, see if people like it. If they don't like it, focus on what they like, build that more, get rid of what people don't like, and slowly you'll come to a point where audience will tell you, people will tell you what they want, right? And slowly you'll be able to, and that goes to YouTube videos also. If you're a creator, if you're a YouTuber, if you are making Instagram reels, if you are a blogger, if you are any kind of creator, initially you wouldn't know what the audience wants. Eventually audience will tell you, this is the kind of video I like, and this is the kind of video I don't like. Listen to them, listen to the comments, and you will see that eventually you'll figure out, okay, this is where I should be going. Perfection is a killer. Don't fear perfection. It's an illusory excuse to delay your success, is my quote. Because I see so many engineers trying to make it the perfect product, and they're lost in analysis paralysis. May I request you to please mute your mic? They're lost in analysis paralysis, right? Constantly they're trying to make it perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, because by the time you come to what you think is perfect, world would have moved on and something else is relevant. Just to give an example of Nearify, one of the companies I had actually acquired. I didn't start it, I acquired it, and we built a product that was mainly for aggregating events around you with artificial intelligence. It will know who you are, what kind of events you want. So it would take data from different event companies around you and showcase to you only 10 or 15 events that are relevant to you. We thought it was supposed to be event aggregation, and we had, without any marketing, we got 300,000 downloads, 3,000 plus 5-star ratings. We raised $500,000. And then turns out America's most popular women's magazine, Cosmopolitan, and most popular teen magazine, 17, actually ranked us one of the top apps. Wow. Ranked us as one of the top dating and friend finding app. Turns out, people were finding matches based on the events they liked. Because when you go to an event, you like jazz, you go to an event, you don't say hi, hello to anyone, you just go to the event, you listen, you come back. But in this case, people could use the app to find out who all are at the event, say hi to each other, connect with each other, and find new friends and potential dates. And that's how we evolved eventually. Of course, the business didn't go too far because of some issues with the investors and whatnot. But the point is, it was successful till the date it was running. And that was because we listened to the customer and we followed where the customer led us. And so without any marketing, we were able to get to so many downloads and so many active users. So that's what when you listen to your customer, you come to a unique bragging proposition. I'm sure you've heard of USP. What's your unique selling proposition? What makes you unique? Unique bragging proposition is when your customer brags about you, when they tell others, oh, this is such a cool product, you should try it out, right? Like Truecaller. Truecaller doesn't do advertising. What happens? Two friends sitting with each other like, hey, want me to show you somebody's number? Or tell me a number, I'll tell you what the name is. Really? How? Truecaller. Download the app. Right? That's how Truecaller gets viral. So now coming to Lean Startup methodology. Lean Startup is the science of startups, right? So there's a science, there's experiment, observation, inference process. So Lean Startup basically came out of Stanford University, where after 10,000 successful startups were researched, and what is common among them was put in a book called Lean Startup Methodology. And that's the methodology, that today most successful startups use, and it works. So building a minimum viable product. Ajmal, would you mind muting your mic? Thank you. So building a minimum viable product. So not building everything, but you start with market research. You figure out what people want, what's the problem you want to solve, what the problem people want to pay for solving. Translate the market research to product or service. So think about the story of Henry Ford. Henry Ford, he thought, let me ask people what kind of locomotion they want. He asked them, what kind of locomotives do you want? And people said, oh, we want a 6-horse buggy instead of a 2-horse buggy. And Henry Ford translated that market research to cars as a product, fast cars, cheap cars, right? So he realized people want more horses because that means they want more speed and they want more power, so they can carry more goods. So Henry Ford created the Ford Motor Company, where he created the conveyor belt system, where cars could be created fast, created cheaply, and they were powerful and they were fast. So we can blame Henry Ford for all the traffic jam we have today. Just a joke. But the point is, he had the foresight to translate the market research to product or service. So when people tell you build this, build that, they don't know what they want. People don't know what they want. They're not experts. But you as an entrepreneur need to have that expertise to translate what is it that they really want. Read between the lines. What is it that they really want? And build that product or service for them. That I cannot teach you. That's something you have to figure out, right? That's what makes you a Elon Musk-like entrepreneur, or that makes you somebody who just couldn't make it, right? The point is, based on this ability to translate what people want and what product or services you offer is where your magic lies as an entrepreneur. But you can always use the science of Lean Startup methodology that will at least get you close to the success that you deserve. Prioritize your minimum viable features, create a prototype. When you're talking to investors, when you're trying to get co-founders, show them something, a sketch, a PowerPoint, a 3D printout, a CAD drawing, show them something. People are terrible at imagining things, especially if you're building innovation. So show them something they can easily understand. Oh, okay, this is what you mean, right? Get feedback and try to answer these questions. Who is my customer? What product do they actually want? right? Like for Nearify, I thought, oh, they wanted a event aggregation platform. Turns out people want dating platform around events. Okay, fantastic. And how do you build a scalable business around it, right? So these are the questions you need to answer. And once you have these answers, have a plan. It's important. If you fail to plan, you'll plan to fail. There's a saying. I'm not saying it right probably, but the point is you should definitely have a plan if you want to have a successful business. And it starts with this, a goal, a revenue goal. Let's say you want to have a million dollar goal. Okay, in 12 months, I'm going to make $1 million, right? What's the plan? The plan is this. You break it down. How many customers need to pay you how much money for your product to get to that million? Or how many customers, how much per month, subscription, recurring revenue will get you that $1 million mark, right? And for that to happen, you can break that down from 12 months to a month to a week to a day. Every day, 2 to 3 things you can accomplish towards that $1 million goal. So when you break it down, when you have a plan, then it becomes achievable. That big number becomes chewable. You realize, oh, that's not so hard. I mean, it's not as hard as, of course it's hard, but it's not as hard as I thought it would be. It's much more achievable with a plan, and that makes sense, right? That's what it means. So then every moment, every hour you waste, you realize, oh my God, I'm moving away from my goal. Now you have a plan. Now every day matters because every day you're progressing. You know where you're going. You have a GPS towards your destination, right? So that's what I mean. That's a business plan. Now you will say, okay, but how do I have the funding? How do I have the money, right? So money comes in many shapes and sizes. Of course, money is money, as you see the 2,000 rupee note in this guy's hand. There's also credit, right? You can take loans, friends, family, fools, right? You can do bartering. Hey, I will help you with your homework, help me with building my app, right? And then there is all these companies giving you free resources for your startup. With NASCOM, I'm sure you have access to all of these guys, right? Even Kolkata Ventures, we have access to these guys. So Paytm, for example, gives us 1 lakh a month. Our startups get 1 lakh a month of free Paytm fees waived. Or Amazon Web Services gives $35,000 worth of Amazon Web Services credits for over 3-year period. Microsoft gives you free access to their tools, etc., etc. So the point is, these are all money that you would have to otherwise pay, but lakhs and lakhs of money is given to you for free for you to test, play, and build your startup. And when you make money, you're given a couple of years to show, to prove, and then you can make revenue, you can bring in investors, and then you can grow. But first, you have to prove that you can grow from zero to revenue. When you make revenue, then investors will be like, okay, if you could make money with no money, now you can make money with money. But if you cannot make money with no money, you cannot make money with money. There are so many rich kids I know. Daddy gives him 1 crore and he tries to build a startup. The fellow gets a massive office, good-looking assistant, right? 20 employees. And what are they doing? Oh, doing nothing. No product for 1 year. Then they ran out of 1 crore in 1 year. And then they come to investors. Oh, can you give me money? Well, you couldn't make money with 1 crore. Why should I give you money to grow, right? So point is jugaad mentality. You need to have the ability to be bootstrapping from zero, make money with value creation. Like, watch my first TED talk. It's about currency of relationships, how I made $1 million company with zero money, right? Being, smiling with getting people on board, inspiring them to come on board. You cannot pay them, and that's okay, but they see the vision, they see your confidence, they see you pitch to them like, hey, if we get rich, we get rich together. If we don't, at least you learn something. We all learn something, right? There's no loss in this process. Come, let's build something together for a better future. So you as an entrepreneur, to inspire a team, come together and build something powerful to solve a powerful problem, right? So do it now, no excuses. Make it a habit to win every day. Have 2 or 3 things towards that $1 million goal. Every day, achieve it. Every day, no excuses, achieve your $1 million goal. and empower your dream with deadlines. Make sure there are dates you put. By this date, I'll go revenue. By this date, I will hire my first employee. By this date, I will have the product running. By this date, I will launch. Empower your dreams with deadlines. Make sure you have timelines so that you can plan it and you can break down the plan, back calculate like I showed you, and take action day by day, every day. Get a mentor. I have always had powerful mentors who are where I want to be and who have been where I am today. So, people who, if you're starting with zero money, go for a mentor who started with zero and today has made multi-million dollars. If you're starting with money, go for a mentor who has comes from a rich background and has grown money. So find somebody who has been in your shoes and is where you want to be. So there is no perfect mentor. There is, for you, there is somebody who's perfect. There's nobody who's kind of best for everyone. When I was in class 8, I wrote a letter to Bill Gates because in India there was no startups, there was no mentorship, nothing. The only entrepreneur I knew was Bill Gates, and I wrote to him. He responded back. He said, "Grow up, and we'll talk." I wanted him as my business partner. I was just overjoyed that Bill Gates even responded to me. So the point is, nobody's out of reach. You have LinkedIn, you have Quora, you have access to a lot of amazing people out there. Get a mentor and help them help you grow your business, right? Unless you ask for help, you don't get it. So make sure when you're stuck, ask for help. I'm always there on Instagram, on LinkedIn. If you need anything, I'm there for you, right? And same thing goes to Arjun. He was in the battlefield. He was fighting the most scary war of his life against his own family, his own teachers. And he was like, I don't know if I should fight this war or not. And that's where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Krishna spoke. Krishna became his mentor and guided him through the world's first motivational speech, right? And finally, Arjun realized, Karishe Vachanam Tava. This is a Dharma Yuddha. This is for the right reason. And yes, I'm ready to fight. So like that, every day is a war for us. Every day is a fight for us. As a startup entrepreneur, or as a student, or as an employee, as a boss, every day is a fight. And we need mentors in our lives. And we need somebody to guide us, to tell us, okay, here is how this is done, right? That saves us time and money. There's always a right choice versus a popular choice. A good mentor will tell you what's the right choice for you. But YouTubers, people who are motivational speakers will tell you what's a popular choice. This is hot, you should do it. And many people will go for the popular choice, but it might not be the right choice for you. You might not have the skills for it, right? You will be like AI, ML, IoT, but do you really, as a college student, can you really build something that's AI? Right? It takes 10 years experience minimum to build something with AI, and you need data sets. And who has data sets besides Google, Amazon, Facebook, LinkedIn, right? So how are you going to build something that's AI? So right choice versus popular choice, right? That's very, very important. And this is my learning from all these years of building startups is think big, think really big, but start small, right? Start small with the low-hanging fruit. Grow slow. Grow slow. Make your mistakes. Don't repeat the mistakes. And then grow really, really fast with investors' money. When people start copying you, when you have a repeatable, scalable business model, when you're growing multiple states, that's when you really want to make sure investors come in and you have enough money for marketing and sales, and you grow really, really fast and capture market share. I'm always here, at Kolkata Ventures. We're here to help you. If you need one-on-one sessions, you can always WhatsApp this number and schedule a time. I also have a gift for all of you. For the last 4 years, I have been in India. I have made videos for all of you on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Avelo Roy. There's almost 200 plus videos on startups, on spirituality, on communication skills, on pitching to investors, right? All of that. 3 to 5 minute videos. Highly recommend you go watch those videos. You will get an MBA on startups. It's really, I give a lot of nugget of wisdom in very short span of time. And I highly recommend you watch them. And if you have questions, comment on the videos. I'll be responding to you. And if you have anything you want to ask privately, ask on Instagram or LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to help you out. All right. I'll end my speech with that. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to take them right now.
Thank you, sir. That was so wonderful hearing you. And also, and I think definitely our participants gonna make best use of it. I ask participants to ask the questions, if any. They can also post it in the chat box, so the speaker will be able to answer it.
Yeah.
There's a few. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. There is a question in the chat. How to start a startup without any money in the beginning? Question from Suhas.
Yeah, I'll give you an example of Zappos. Many of you might not know Zappos, but Zappos was the first shoe e-commerce platform in the world that got sold to Amazon for multi-billion dollars. So what happened was the owner of Zappos, when he was thinking, should I start this company or not, he went to a shoe store and he asked the owner of the shoe store that, sir, can I take pictures of your shoes? He's like, why? He's like, oh, I'm building this website online and I want to take pictures of your shoes and I'll put it on my website. If I'm able to sell shoes, you can sell more, it's more sales for you. I'll buy at your selling price and I'll ship it myself. So it's more sales for you if you allow me to take pictures. He's like, okay, sure. I have nothing to lose. Go take pictures of the shoes. He took pictures of the shoes. He went and created a simple website in a few hours, uploaded the pictures, created an e-commerce platform, right? And started marketing it on social media. People started buying shoes. And it didn't cost him a single rupee, a single dollar to build that website. It was all free tools, WordPress like tools and things like that. Once he sold the first shoe, he shut down the website. He went to the shoe store, bought the shoes, shipped the shoes, and he got his validation that, you know what, people are willing to buy shoes online. Then he put in money in building a fancy website and e-commerce platform, and it became very popular, and eventually Amazon bought it out, and it was a multi-billion dollar exit. So that's how you start with zero money. You do the validation with zero money because so many free tools are available, especially now. What to speak of, this guy built Zappos 10, 15 years ago, right? So that's the answer to your question. Just a simple answer. And that's the jugaad mentality also. You have to figure out what so many free tools are available. How can you test an idea with the free tools and then invest if you need to?
There's a question from Shreyas. How do you know if you got the MVP right?
So a very simple way of testing that out is getting your customers to pay for your MVP. You should build a sellable MVP. MVP is a minimum viable product. It's not perfect, but if people are still willing to pay for it, that means the need is so strong that they're willing to pay for a defective product. Just like Uber, when Uber started, it would take a long time for a cab to come because they only had 6 cabs in the city of San Francisco. But people were still willing to pay more money than normal cabs to get a cab to come to their doorstep using an app. And eventually they got it down to 13 minutes, then 7 minutes, then 5 minutes, right? And slowly, more cabs, less time. But initially it was, they just wanted to see if people are willing to pay for it. And people were willing to pay for it. So if you can get customers, if you can get validation, that's how you know you have the right product.
The question from Nagendra says, how to attract investors having a small startup?
If investors are looking to grow their money, right? When you have a lot of money, it's a problem because money and inflation is happening. You're not getting any interest, so you're losing money by keeping it in the bank. So it's your duty to grow the money. But how do you grow the money? That's why people invest in startups, because startups 90% fail, but the 10% that succeed can really give you 20x, 60x, 100x return on investment. That's why people invest in startups. So you need to figure out a way to show the investor that, hey, in the next 3 to 5 years, given my track record in the 3 to 5 months, this is how I'm going to grow. And your money is going to grow with my company. And that's when you're going to get exit, right? A friend of mine who invested 6 crores in Zomato got 108 crores back in 7 years. So that's the kind of return on investment you see. That's what investors invest. So show to them that you have the right assumptions. You have the scalable startup. you have the ability, you have the technology, you have the team. And that's how you attract investors.
So Arthi Shri says how to come up with a feasible startup idea.
I just gave a whole presentation on it. You can watch it again.
Dinesh says he's recently created an app. How to reach out to the people? How should he do that?
I mean, basics, right? WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, your friends, I'm sure, right? I'm sure you're in college. Start with people you know. Start with social media.
Someone would like to know how to find a good team and a co-founder.
How to find a life partner. It's the same answer, right? Look everywhere you can look for, whether it's your alumni list for your college, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's a friend of a friend of a friend, whether it's your professor's network, whether it's your dad's friend. From wherever you can find them. It's the toughest thing for a startup is to find a team that is actually skilled, right? So the answer is actually I was reading a funny post on Facebook the other day on startup group. This lady writes that I was looking for 10 people to hire, and 7 out of those 10 people I hired came from Bumble. Instead of dating, she found, he's a nice qualification. Let me ask him if he's willing to join. And in the process of finding a date, she found a bunch of employees to hire. So the point is, wherever you can find. If you can find them on Tinder, sure, go right ahead. If you find them on LinkedIn, go right ahead. Facebook, right ahead. Friends, network, WhatsApp groups. Be part of as many groups as possible to find the right people who are smart, who have the skills you lack, and who can come on board to build your dream with you.
So what is the difference? Sir, what if a startup has a good team, a college startup has good team, and consider they are pre-final years, and the thing they are having in their mind is confused to take the job or entrepreneurship. Then what they have to choose?
What is the question?
Yeah, my question is at some point of time, students will face the thing to choose entrepreneurship or job. They might be
Choose job.
confused.
Choose job, because if you're thinking to choose job, if job is an option for you, you're not meant to be an entrepreneur. You won't survive. A real entrepreneur is somebody who just wouldn't budge, who wouldn't go for a job no matter what. Right? He has a whole different level of fire and passion. So what will happen is you will get burnt. If job is an option for you, then entrepreneurship will burn you, and you will cry every night because it's so hard to build a startup. It is so hard to go through rejections of investors. It is so hard to build a product that doesn't work and doesn't work and doesn't work, right? My name is Avelo Roy. I'm named after Thomas Alva Edison, Alva to Avelo. And Thomas Edison failed 9,999 times till he found the perfect light bulb 10,000th try. Nobody counted, but the point is he failed a lot of times. And that takes a whole different level of tenacity. If one doesn't have it, better to get a job.
Like in some situations, the people choose job for learning these things, how a company works.
That's fine. That's fine. Do it. And you will think that after a few years, you will actually start your startup. And let me almost promise you, it won't happen. Because after a few years, you'll get comfortable with the money that's coming in. Your parents will push you to get married. Then once you get married, you have kids. Then kids school. Then another kid. Then one after another. Now kids have to go to college, and you're already old. And now you're scared to take risks in life. And you're like, I have a comfortable job. I have a pension waiting for me. I need to get raised. Should I take this trouble, midlife crisis? And before you know, you're dead. So if you don't do it now, most likely it will never happen. 99% of the cases, it won't happen again.
Hello, sir.
Life will bury you. That's how our system works, especially in India.
So I wanted to ask, as you said, like you have to jot down a plan and it should be as discreet as possible for the $1 million goal. So how exactly should one identify milestones to reach that goal, because my milestones can be as small as, just market into 100 groups of WhatsApp today, and the next milestone can be to just get 100 new users. So how exactly to discretize that milestones so that I'm not jumping too fast or neither I'm like walking too slow?
So first of all, you need to understand that there is that the $1 million goal requires for you to sell a product or service. That means you have to build the product or service. Then only you can sell it, right? So milestones are dependent on what all are required. There's building, there is marketing, there is selling, there is recruiting. All of these are tasks. So you need to take the big, elephant and break it down into tasks and subtasks. And your team members have to be assigned. Deadlines have to be given. So go online and learn about project management. How are projects managed? The project management softwares, right? Where you break down a big task into small tasks. If you have to build a website for selling shoes, let's say, right? So what are the subtasks? You have to get the images. You have to get the hosting. You have to get the domain. And once then you have to build the website. What are the features? What are the pages? You have to, finalize the pages by this time. UI, UX needs to be finalized. All of that. Then once the website is ready, now you need to get people on board. You need people to review your website. You need people to talk about it. Then you share it in groups. So there are all these tasks and subtasks. So you need to learn the art of project management. Again, go on YouTube. I have made many videos on these. Happy to, you can learn from there.
Yes, sir.
So last question. Mohammed Shahid would like to know, how do patents and IPR help with startup, and do you recommend that an entrepreneur really needs a patent for his product?
Sorry, Suraj had a question and Saleha is saying something. I don't know who to go for.
Sir, there's a last question from Mohammed Shahid. It is, how do patents and IPR help with the startup? And do you recommend that an entrepreneur requires a patent for his product?
Okay. So in a country like India, where there is rapes and there is murders and all of these things that are happening, if somebody infringes on your patent, don't expect the police to run after them. Won't happen. Having said that, you have some protection, obviously. If you put a lawsuit, eventually, it might go in your favor and you might make a lot of money from that. So the point is, if you have something unique, you can have a patent, then it's a value addition to your valuation. That means if your valuation was to be 5 crores as a company, if you have a patent, it can add a couple more crores to it. It could be worth 7 crores because you have a patent or a patent pending, right? So yes, intellectual property protection does have a lot of importance in terms of investors, in terms of creating barriers to entry, in terms of you can send legal notices to people. One of our incubated startups, they make baby products, and she is getting infringed on Amazon left, right, and center by a very big player. She has an annual turnover of 4 crores, and the big player has a turnover of 100 crores. And Amazon, knowing that she owns the patent, is letting the big guy infringe because he sells more products. So the point is, she is not able to win with this guy. Now she has to go to court, legal notice, lot of money to all of that. So it's hard. But the point is, when it comes to investors are like, oh, she has a patent on it. Great. We will give her higher valuation. So yes, it adds to your credibility and adds to your valuation to have patents and IPR.
So, sir, I don't know what kind of product to build actually for the market. I'm really confused with that. In that case, what we need to do? So, if we
Do an
really don't,
internship first. Learn what kind of markets exist, right? Get real life experience, do a job, do an internship, and once you figure out, then you'll realize, there's a problem and I can solve this problem.
so like if you have something really passionate in some particular domain, can you do some research on that and do internship? Then you can figure
Yeah.
out that.
Yeah.
Okay, so example, now you're graduated from the college and you want to start a business, want to enter into entrepreneur. At the same case, you want to survive actually. For that, what we need to, how we can able to balance with that for survival and the entrepreneurship? Because when you start a business, you're not having initially money because maybe you can expect from your parents. If that is not a case, how you can able to balance
Sunil, do you have a phone?
sir?
Do you have a phone and a laptop?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have internet connection?
I'm having this.
Yeah. So you should be able to make money with that. Whether it's drop shipping, whether it's content creation, whether it's freelancing, you should be able to make money while you're building your startup. I was selling cheese biscuits on the streets of Chicago on weekends. And with that money, I was running my startup Monday to Friday. Saturdays, I would bake cheese biscuits. Sundays, I would sell them in farmers markets, right, on the streets. And that's how I was running, funding my startup in an economy where nobody was willing to invest in my company. So I didn't have mommy, daddy helping me. So the point is, if you are an entrepreneur, you'll figure out a way to make money from no money and fund your startup and do what you do and need to survive, and all of that will happen. Today, you have so many tools, so many ways you can be making money. So figure out, right? Again, I have videos on these also, how to make a startup from zero money. There's a whole playlist on it. Go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Avelo Roy, and watch those. I've given these in details. But Salaha is my boss right now, and she's keeping the time. So Salaha, let me know if we are done, or you want me to answer more questions.
So one more question from Suhas. Suhas, please go ahead.
Hello, sir. I have an idea, and the idea is very fun, and I've done a market research on it. But I'm getting very confused. Like I'm almost clueless. Like what the next step should be, like how to create the app, or where to find the app designers and all. And one more fear what I'm having is, I'm having little to no fund. Funding is very less, and I'm like generally, if you take any startup for example, the co-founder and the founder's share when the startup grows will become very little. They almost become a minority shareholders in many of the startups.
So what?
So this is the one thing I fear.
So what? If you're a minority shareholder, you own 7% of the company, let's say, right? Still, that's worth $1 billion, and everybody else is owning 1%, 2% of your company. So what? That's fine. The single largest shareholder in Disney is Steve Jobs' wife. When Steve Jobs sold Pixar, he got the share, and she is the single largest shareholder, even more than the Walt Disney family. 7% only she owns, but that 7% is worth hundreds of, I don't know how many hundreds of billions of dollars, but a lot of money, because Disney practically owns the whole media industry. The point is, Suhas, it's not, don't worry about equity and all that. Get started, and you will figure it out as you go along, right? And
So
it comes to apps and all, hold on. When it comes to apps and all, don't build an app. Don't be stupid, because people have all the apps they need. There's no reason for them to download the app. You're not building something so brilliant that they're going to download your app. It's a very difficult process to get people to download it. It costs 110 rupees on Facebook ads to get people to download the app. Even Amazon and Make My Trip, brands that are billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar companies, are giving you 500 rupees to download that app. So don't build the app. Build a website. Do what you can do. Again, I don't know, after going through this whole presentation, if you got anything out of it, but I talked about minimum viable product. So do something that is low-hanging fruit. So that is something simply done. I gave you the example of Zappos. They built a simple WordPress site. They didn't come up with an app. So don't build app from day one. What if your app is something people don't want? Do you know how expensive it is to build an app? To get an app developer, minimum 2 to 3 lakhs you'll need. To build a website, zero money. Go on YouTube, learn how to build it. 2 hours, you'll have a website ready. So please think like a startup entrepreneur. Don't think like a bloody employee. Understand?
yes,
If you want to build the Taj Mahal, start with the foundation. Start with the bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll build the minars, and you'll build the dome. You'll build all of that will come. But start with something. No? Just like when you drive on a highway, the headlights can show you only 6 feet ahead what is there. But as you keep driving, you can see more and more and more. So don't get scared about, oh, where will I find this? Where will I find that? Then you'll be lost at analysis paralysis. Don't get paralyzed. Start, build something simple. Build what you can build. Build what your friends can help you build. Right? And slowly evolve that over time. And trust me, what you build will never be used. but it will give you validation. And when it comes to commercially viable product, you will actually hire a team to build it when you have money and all that. But initially started simply. One company, a friend of mine, he raised $25 million in Bangalore for an AI startup. Guess what? He's a friend, so I know. There is no AI there. It is all II, intern intelligence. He has 25 interns working in the back end, manipulating the data. Users are happy. Investors are like, wow, this is great. And with the investors' money, $25 million, he's now building the AI. Because to even hire somebody to build an AI platform, you have to give them 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs a month. How will you get that salary? So interns are cheap, free, in fact, mostly. Some might take a little bit of money. So be jugaru. Think like an entrepreneur. Think how you can hack the system. Does it make sense?
Yes, of course.
So,
I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just trying to help you think like an entrepreneur. Break down the
Sorry,
problem
what?
into simple, chewable product, and then you'll be able to build something more tangible out of it. Yes, Sunil, go ahead.
sir, like if there are some ideas that you have in your mind and you don't know how to start, like basically where to start, because you know that if you work some market, we have done some research on that. Something like if you like what people need, but we don't know where to start. In such case, like what to do, because we need to learn and just after studying that, then you need to start this, or like we need to take a help from other.
I just gave a whole presentation. I don't know what I did. Maybe I didn't speak well. I don't know. I gave a whole presentation on how to start. um, but anyway, to answer your question, start with a Google search. Find out the problem.
So I
Solve
was,
the problem. Hello? Can you
good evening, sir.
not interrupt me? I'm actually answering a question for Sunil. Just let me finish and then you can speak, Ayuth. So start with a problem, find a problem, like I mentioned, go on Google Trends, go on Quora, find a problem you want to solve. It's not the idea that matters, it's a problem that matters. See how many people are facing that problem. If it's problematic enough that people are willing to pay for it. Build a prototype, get a team together, get your friends to come on board, build a prototype, a site or a sketch or a PowerPoint, whatever. See if people are willing to use it, get some users. Figure out, you'll learn that, oh, this is not something they want something else. Build that something else. And slowly, as you build, you test, you learn, you grow with product iteration, then go for government grants, go for winning competitions. You'll get 2-3 lakhs, build a viable product with that, and then try to generate revenue with that. Does it make sense, Sunil?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Somebody else asked a question.
Yes, sir. I'm really sorry for interrupting you that time.
No problem. Go ahead, Ayuth.
So I've always wanted to start an art business, and I had no idea how to price my art pieces, because abroad people value the products, but in India everyone wants things for cheap, right?
True.
So I've always been bamboozled, like how to price my art, whether to like
Have you
invent it myself.
delved into NFT?
No, I've tried for that, but I didn't get there. I almost got
That's a
into
new
Nike.
hot trend, and if you can get into NFT and figure that puzzle out, you could be selling your art for millions of dollars. That's all I can say.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Not
thanks.
expert in this domain, so can't give you more. But
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is NFT is the next big thing for art.
Yeah, but in general, I just wanted to ask you, like, how do you price your products? Like, we do a survey.
You don't. You look at the customer and you
Yeah.
figure out the price, how
Okay,
much their buying capacity is. Otherwise, imagine MF Hussain,
Yeah.
doing just wish-wash, kind of sketches, and
Yes.
just because it's supposed to be Madhuri Dixit, he's selling it for crores.
Yeah.
Or even Mamta Banerjee, making drawings. I mean, it looks like literally a 5-year-old has drawn it. Sorry, don't kill me. But the point is, she's selling it for crores. So it really matters, the value that you show it has. And
Yes,
people who, if you can showcase the value of it, the luxury market is very weird, right? You need to showcase that this is something. A chimpanzee has drawn it. Even that's valuable, right? I just learned some chimpanzee drew something with, and that got sold for millions of dollars. So, it's a fickle market. You have to find the right rich, stupid guy who's actually willing to pay for it and showcase the value to them and whatever is valuable to them, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sorry if I'm saying something politically incorrect. Yes, Rakesh.
So I have a solution for him, sir, for his art selling.
Oh, just talk to him, then don't tell me. Kushal.
Hello, sir. Two questions. First one is Truecaller. You mentioned about it. So there are many caller ID apps, but Truecaller is the first thing that comes into our head. So how do we build that kind of brand authority and high barriers of entry? The second one is I'm connected with you on LinkedIn, and I keep seeing high quality content, especially personal branding. So how can we as student entrepreneurs work on building this personal brand? Even in the call over here, you mentioned my name is Avelo Roy. It comes from Thomas Alva Edison. So how can we come up with these kind of things to penetrate our personal brand deeper?
Very, very glad that Kushal, you noticed these small things. I'm happy you paid attention. So first of all, to answer your first question, Truecaller, they had the first movers advantage. They trained the market into understanding what it is. Initially people didn't know what Truecaller is. So, and they were working at it for a very long time. And these copycats came much later. So Truecaller was building their base. It's like an elephant giving birth to a baby, right? Elephant gestation period is far more than a human being. So it takes time. So that's what they were doing. If you look at Vijay Shekhar Sharma, I read one of his tweets. It brought tears to my eyes. He was saying from 2001 to 2006, he was eating only one meal a day, building PTM, right? So we see what it is today. We don't see the work that has gone into it, right? The struggles that have gone into it. So the roots have been created deeply. And that's when you see the tip of the glacier, you're like, oh, okay, that's not a big deal. But then the years of work that has gone into it, that's what makes it so strong. Asking about my personal brand, when I came to India, I come from a broken family. My parents are not together. I didn't have access to any network. The only thing I can do was social media. And I started sharing my knowledge on startups on social media. And thereby people started recognizing me, knowing me, inviting me to speaking engagements. And I built Kolkata Ventures out of these videos because that was my only way of building a network. My everything was in the US, right? I grew up in the US, my friends, everything. So here I was all this my country, still I was a nobody here. So I had to build my personal brand, and the personal brand is built by adding genuine value to others. After watching my videos, many people have tried making videos, but it's just copycat of Tony Robbins or copycat of other guys out there who are thought leaders and whatnot. And people can easily catch that. What I speak is from my own experience, and it's valuable, and it's short. And I don't tell people like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. I don't tell people that. Watch any of my videos. I never tell people to subscribe to my channel. I never tell people comment this, like in this. No, I'm just giving value genuinely. And people appreciate and they reciprocate. That's how it works. I might not have millions of followers, but the 20, 30,000 followers that I have are genuinely loyal to me because of the honest brand that I have built, right? Here I am. This is who I am, and this is what it is. I don't show off Ferraris. I don't show off private jets and whatnot. Here is Avelo Roy, and here is as it is. And people relate to me, and they see here is a guy, you know what? And his words make sense, and people make money out of it. And then they showcase that on social media. Somebody wrote on LinkedIn the other day, I made 30 lakhs just by coming to one of your courses at IIT, and I took your course for a week, and I made 30 lakhs out of 6 lakhs. So grateful to you. So things like that. Again, these are the roots that are being built, right? Over the next 20 years, next 30 years, these videos are going to be there. These people are going to be there. They're going to tell other people about the good things that they're getting from me. And that's how, you see the success. You see, Jay Shetty is a friend of mine. I have known him for the 7 years before he became Jay Shetty. He was struggling. He used to get, he was in London. He was to get like little speaking engagements in colleges and this, that, right? One video, Huffington Post took over, got 40 million views. Second video, Huffington Post got him 80 million views. Third video, and he was, he got his own studio in New York City, and he was, he became Jay Shetty. But the point is, nobody knows the struggles he did as a monk, as a motivational speaker before that. I have seen him with that. So the point is, years of effort goes in that nobody gets to see. And then suddenly there is this spike, and that's how exponential work works. It's a straight line for a long time, and suddenly it picks up, right? That's the thing. So the work has to be put in, genuine, consistent effort has to go in. for that to happen.
Wow, thanks for that answer, sir. I think just a follow-up with that itself, should the company brand build the CEO's personal brand or the CEO's
Not
personal?
always, because the company can fail.
Okay.
You have to make sure your personal brand is strong enough that regardless of the company, you live through. Because the company goes down, then you don't exist.
Right, right. Yeah, got it.
And the other part is when your company becomes big, your other directors, other shareholders might try to pull you out or kick you out. If your brand is strong, they cannot kick you out.
Right.
Today, this fellow is alive. What's his name? Jack Ma. China tried to basically destroy him, but because of his brand, and he purposely built his personal brand, there was so much push from multiple countries when he was not found for 3 months.
Yeah.
And China had to kind of, let him live. The point is, personal brand saves you in many ways. When everything else falls, everything else fails, that brand value stays. If you can keep it consistently.
Right. Yeah, that's a beautiful answer. Thank you, sir.
Most welcome. Okay, I got to go, but thank you very much, all of you. Is there anything else, Akhil or?
Hello, sir. One last question, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Prashant.
Okay.
Sir, like I have a product idea, sir, but I do not have like proper skill sets to design, make that product. But so should I go for that product, or should I find some product that I am really good at? Like that product can make a change, but I do not have the proper skill sets to make that product. But I have the other skill sets. So
Remember
should
that
I
slide with
find
business
product in there?
viability, tech viability, and people's desire, right? So tech viability is not there. You don't have the skill. So how will you build it? So better is you work on a product where you can add value. And eventually you learn the skills that you can eventually bring forth that product that you have in mind right now, which you don't have skills for. Okay. Any other question you can ask me on Instagram? Akhil, I have to end now.
Hello, sir. So last question that I just want. Sir, building company in America and India, what is the difference that we can say, sir? Like many of them say that in US, they give a lot of government gives support to starters, but in India it is not like that. If you take a Flipkart, it is failed in that case actually. Like, what is your opinion on
There's
this?
plenty of support. You're right now getting support from NASCOM, which is heavily helped by the government. There is Atal incubation centers around the country, which gives 10 lakhs grant money to every startup that gets incubated. You have to be good enough to get the grants. That's the part, Sunil. Don't blame the government. There is plenty of resources. If you're good enough, if you are inquisitive enough, you'll go find and grab the opportunities your way. Opportunity won't come knocking on your door. You have to go grab it.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
No further questions, everyone. Please contact sir personally after the meeting because we're going to have to come for a close now. I would like to thank the organizers, NASCOM, Cisco Incubator Foundation, and Riva University for making this event possible. I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to Mr. Avelo Roy for his precious time and priceless advice. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants for their enthusiastic involvement and the student body for their impeccable coordination and management. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Take care. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.